I think extremely dialed on macros, what we're going to have for our meals. There's no guesswork. There's no decision making. I think we're at the point now even where we're pre-prepping some of our dinners, getting to that point. We're really just cooking the meat. And that's been a huge thing, I think, for us. And I think the biggest part of your transformation has been the nutrition.
But strength training has actually changed everything for me, genuinely. And I just feel better too. Yeah, it's just sometimes it can be hard to stop myself in my tracks and be like, there's something greater beyond all of this, But I think it's also I've been just trying to ask myself, what's my purpose while I am here on earth? It's nice to see changes in my body composition after putting a lot of hard work into it. But just overall, the mental clarity, especially coming off the weekends.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Between the Reps. Today, I have my fiance, Emily Kight, on the podcast again, and I'm excited to share her journey and story with you guys again on the transformation now being roughly 7 months postpartum. It's a good episode. We really dive into nutrition and what it really takes to build a solid foundation of health, especially being young parents and managing full-time jobs and all the things that come into your daily life. You're not going to have perfect days. You're not going to have perfect outcomes, but what you can do to manage the stress, the anxiety, that's why having a routine is important. Being able to have that foundation and lay that groundwork to set yourself up for success. And we really dive into the whole transformation that Emily's gone through. So I'm excited for you guys to hear this episode. If you could please do me a huge favor and subscribe, follow, just share this. I love the platform. I love making the podcast and bringing you guys an episode each and every single week. So if you could, like I said, give us a follow, subscribe, and share so we can continue to make progress in presenting the best podcast possible. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the episode. I'll talk to you real soon. MK, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
A little tired today.
A little tired. It's been a long week until Wednesday.
Yeah. For me, it's been a long weekend and 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I had my bachelor party last weekend. You were holding it down here for the kiddos, so tired, but wanted to get you on this week and kind of talk about your journey and kind of your transformation in fitness. And I don't know if we want to break it up into 2 episodes or we just do one and kind of cover it all. But yeah, so really excited to hear what you have going on and kind of get into the nutrition and fitness aspect of kind of your routine and what that looks like. And then also Pelotonia this weekend. How you feeling about that?
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but yeah, definitely a little nervous. I probably didn't train as much as I should have, but that's okay.
It's all good. All good. We got lives. We're not perfect. Just like you said, tired this week. And it was hard for both of us. I know Monday, Tuesday to wake up, I was coming off a long weekend. You were running around with the kiddos, holding it down here at home, and just explain to people that it doesn't have to be perfect. We have a system in place, but it's not always perfect. It's not always going to be, we're up every single morning, which we do a good job 95% of the time. But like I said, on Monday and Tuesday, we both had to do our workouts in the afternoon because I think we've both started to realize how important our recovery and sleep is as well. And I think I might have gotten 3 hours of sleep Sunday night into Monday and didn't go to bed till late because I just wanted to make sure we were ready for the week. So kind of talk about what that looks like from a standpoint of it's not perfect and kind of what our routine looks like when we are kind of off of our normal everyday morning routine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, and I guess even before I became a mom, I maybe had the same fear, expectation that fitness in motherhood or parenthood was going to be super difficult. But I think that it doesn't have to be difficult. I think sometimes people might look at me, I guess, the transformation that I've had and probably think that I'm doing 1 hour, an hour and a half workouts every day. But honestly, My workouts take me 45 minutes, if that, and they're so simple. So I think, again, your workouts and your workout routine doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to make it difficult. And the routine that you set up, the structure that you have, is obviously the most important part, because if we were just all over the place with everything, it would obviously be much harder. But
Yeah.
just the routines that we've set in place and the structure that we have also is, the most important
Yeah.
piece of it.
I would say the structure is everything. Like I said, the system that we have in place going into not just maybe it was a stressful weekend or a long weekend, or one of us was with the kids longer than the other one. I think the system that we have in place assures that our fitness and nutrition is still top priority as we go into the week. So whether it is we have to miss a workout in the morning, we're still able to kind of work in our schedule to be able to hit that workout at night. And I think our nutrition right now for both of us is something I really want to hit on. We're dialed. I think extremely dialed on macros, what we're going to have for our meals. There's no guesswork. There's no decision making. I think we're at the point now even where we're pre-prepping some of our dinners, getting to that point. We're really just cooking the meat. And that's been a huge thing, I think, for us. And I think the biggest part of your transformation has been the nutrition. So I really want to hammer out kind of the details of what you've done, kind of what has worked for you and what hasn't worked, and kind of how you've dialed in your plan to get to this point and your transformation being postpartum.
Yeah, well, I think since I've started this whole, I guess, postpartum fitness journey, I think at the beginning I was tracking macros a little bit, but never like super consistent.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just kind of like ebbed and flowed with it a little bit. I would track for a little bit and then I would be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know how much I'm eating. But I think when I really like locked in and started tracking again, I was like, dang, I probably have not been getting enough protein in, or
Yeah.
I think sometimes I was like overeating a little bit, which, like, yes, listen to your body. But I think sometimes if you're not tracking, there's just no way to know. And I
Yeah.
don't think tracking is something that everyone has to do forever, but I think it's a great tool to just keep yourself in check and just make sure, whether it's overeating or undereating, making sure you're getting enough protein, making sure you're not overdoing it on carbs
Yeah.
and under fueling on the protein and the fats. I feel like the last, I think, month, maybe a little over a month, I've been really consistent with it. And I feel like I've been seeing so much change in my body, and I feel satisfied
Yeah.
like throughout the day and at the end of the night. So it's been a game changer, honestly.
And when you talk about like feeling satisfied, I think that's the biggest problem for people is they still feel hungry or they're not hungry. What do you think was the biggest issue for you before you were tracking?
Not getting enough protein.
Yeah.
For sure. I think before I was really tracking, I was not getting in as much protein as I thought I was going to. And then my body just felt hungry.
Yeah.
And I would go for more carbs
Okay.
most of the time, I feel like.
Just trying to get full.
Yeah. And I think something that has helped is I feel like I try to front load my day with protein. So
Yeah.
I eat a high protein breakfast. I think I get like almost 70 grams of protein in before 9 a.m.
That's crazy.
And then, well, maybe it's not that much. Maybe it's like 650 or 60
Well,
grams.
that's
I don't know, but still.
like,
But before, I guess before like probably noon, like between breakfast and lunch, I feel like I get a good amount of protein in. And then I feel like pretty good throughout the rest of the day. And then dinner, of course, we're having a high protein meal. But I think that has helped, just front loading my day with protein rather than trying to catch up on my protein intake later in the day.
yeah. And you would say probably, especially from the female perspective, that's probably one of the biggest things that most women struggle with is protein.
Oh, for sure. I think maybe women are just unaware of, one, maybe how much protein they're actually consuming, two, how much protein they should be consuming. And then a 3, I think there's always like still that fear that some women have of just like meat is bad
Yeah.
or whatnot. But
Like maybe the bulky, I
yeah,
guess.
I don't know. I would say probably the top 2 is like they're just unaware of how little protein they're getting. They think they're getting more than they actually are,
Yeah.
and they're just unaware of how much they should be getting.
Yeah. And typically, how much, let's just go female perspective. If you're a woman that's between 120 pounds, 170 pounds, what is the average? Is the same for the male? Every pound that you weigh, a gram of protein per, or is it a little less, a little more?
I typically go 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight.
Ideal body weight.
So
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean, and I think it somewhat depends on your goals, but I feel like in general, everyone should be aiming towards that range.
Okay. Yeah. And for when you're breaking down your macros, what does that look like at the beginning? I know you're in the process, which we'll get to this later, but setting it up for other people and kind of helping them out. You have 2 clients that you're working with right now. What does that look like if you're starting out with somebody? Let's use yourself, for example. What does that process look like if someone's going to come to you, they want your help or something they can do on their own? Kind of how are you gauging that and making that start in that process?
I think the first thing is trying to figure out around where their maintenance calories is, because without having an idea of what that is, that's the starting point,
Yeah.
right? Because if someone is wanting to lose a little bit of weight or gain a little bit of weight, right, that'll kind of determine whether they're in surplus or a slight calorie deficit. So if you don't know around what their maintenance calories is, there's no way to really know what that would look like. So something that I've been kind of having my clients do is the first like almost 2 weeks, what they do is they'll weigh themselves day 1, and then they're going to track everything that they eat for the next about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I tell them, right, eat the same way that you have been. Don't change anything.
Yeah.
Work
And
out and move the same way you have
That's
been.
probably
Don't change
key,
anything.
right? Is not trying to, I know some people might, I want to look good for the coach, so I'm going to fix my diet this week. And then they're going to be off. They're
Yeah.
not going to have a good idea of what their baseline is.
Yeah. So they'll track for about 2 weeks, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, they'll weigh themselves again. And there's a lot more that goes into it, but I think this is just a good chance to see, in those 2 weeks, were there any fluctuations with their weight?
Yeah.
If so, how much? And then just to get an idea to start, right, you take the average caloric intake from those 2 weeks. And if they lose a little bit of weight, that means that they were probably in a slight calorie deficit.
Okay.
If they stayed the same weight, the average caloric intake over those 2 weeks was probably around their maintenance calories. And then if they gained a little bit of weight, right, they potentially were in a slight calorie or caloric surplus. Again, there is a lot more that goes into it. So I feel like typically it takes a couple weeks to really play around with where they should be at, how they're feeling in terms of their workouts feel. Do they feel really hungry at the end of the night or right when they wake up? So it's kind of just at the beginning, it's really just a little bit of a trial and error to make sure that they feel good, they're fueling enough, and they're where they should be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the process that I take to kind of start when I'm helping someone out.
So when you are in that process and you're kind of working with them and they have their baseline where they need to be at, typically, what are you seeing the average calories? Is it higher or about where they should be, or is it much lower than where they should be for a person, let's say, whatever their weight is? Are they within that range, or do you see it being a lot lower?
I feel like typically it's lower than where they should be. And I think sometimes that maybe confuses them a little bit. But then again, you take a look at like where those calories are coming from.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, if you are continuously eating a lower amount of calories, if you've been eating 1,500 calories for 2 years, right? Your body kind of registers that and starts to almost hold on to fat because it's almost in like survival mode.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of women especially think that they need to eat less to lose more.
Yeah.
But that's just where they get it wrong. And again, I think it comes down to like what those macros look like. Are they getting enough protein? Are they getting enough carbs?
Yeah.
Where are their fats? Are their fats super high or whatnot? So there's just a lot that goes into it.
And are you, when you're doing this, are you taking exercise into play when you're going through all this? Say you have someone and they are extremely active and they are basically in a calorie deficit, a small deficit, whatever it may be, whatever that baseline is, but they've been operating in that deficit for 2 years, but they're extremely active. How do you work with that person to kind of get them to register as like, okay, this is why you're not getting or seeing results in maybe, let's say, your body composition. Maybe not so much you're having good times or you're moving weight in the weight room, but your body composition hasn't really changed over the past 2 years.
Well, I think a couple things go into it. Again, it's like looking at their carb to fat to protein ratio.
Yeah.
I guess, like, for example, I'm helping someone out right now who's training for a hard race. So they're doing a lot of exercise and we are keeping her calories around maintenance, maybe even in like a slight surplus on her hard training days, because the biggest focus for her right now is to make sure she feels good during her workouts. We don't necessarily want to put her in a deficit. The biggest thing for her is to make sure she's getting enough protein. I think that's the biggest thing right now. And that's where I think she will start to see a little bit more changes in her body composition because she's just not eating enough protein.
And you think that will play a big role in like her performance as well?
Well, I think so. And I think too, like, one, she's going to recover better. Two, she's going to be able to build a little bit more muscle just with increasing that protein intake. Three, I don't think she'll feel as like maybe sluggish some days, just if she's overdoing it on like, carbohydrates. Obviously, carbs for endurance sports are very, very, very important, but just in terms of like overdoing it or not. So I think, I don't know, I'm excited. She's kind of in her first few days of tracking, but I'm excited to see kind of what that change, how she feels overall.
And that's cool that you can kind of the technology that you use, you're able to see all of their stuff, your few clients that you're working with. So being able to have that real-time tracking and data to kind of show them and then they can see it. I think that's the first thing I saw when I started tracking is I weighed 220 to 230 consistently and I was under eating. And now you kind of helping me as I'm at a slight deficit, but also still getting enough fuel to feel good in my workouts. Just it's summer. I want to be lighter. I don't want to be super heavy, but it's not too far off of my maintenance. I think it's like maybe 200 to 250 calories. So having a program and a process that I can, does it suck to track every day? It does, but you also get used to it. And then you're like not overeating because I was a big overeater or I would indulge in food at a certain time in the day or it'd be later at night and I'm trying to get 100 grams of protein in 4 hours. It's unrealistic. So being able to track, like you said, front loading my food and having a plan for the day. Now the app, I have all my meals basically weighed and planned besides dinner, and I can plug right before I come home, let you know what to make, or you let me know what to make and then how much. And it just saves time and it saves it's a part of our process and it's helps us really cut down on groceries at the store because we were bad about just throwing food away. So now each week we know what we need and we kind of have a good idea at the grocery store and it really helps on your portions and to make lunch and breakfast way more efficient. So really talk about like what a week looks like for you in regards to nutrition. So what are your lunches? What are you doing for breakfast? if you could hit on some of the macros for each of those meals and just kind of give us an idea of what that looks like.
I guess I don't know the exact macros for each of my meals, but I eat the same breakfast and lunch every single day.
Yeah.
And then dinner. Obviously, we do the same dinners every week, but
Like a rotation.
they're a rotation. Sometimes we switch it up. But for me, honestly, I think that's been something that's really been helpful. Obviously, sometimes it can get boring eating the same thing for breakfast and lunch, but I low-key love it.
Yeah.
I think, especially in parenthood, there's decisions that we have to make all day long. So almost having it kind of set, knowing what I'm going to eat, knowing that it's fueling my body and it makes me feel good. It's just like one less decision I have to make. So before my workouts every morning, I'll eat a couple pieces of the Seed-tastic bread with some honey. So just some good carbs, a little bit of healthy fats to start. And I feel like that's perfect. It doesn't make me feel like too full or whatnot. I feel like I feel good in the morning. I feel like I'm getting good workouts in. And then what I've been doing is before I go into work, so I try to get this at least 30 minutes after my workout, is I do a yogurt bowl with the non-fat Greek yogurt, couple tablespoons of chia seeds, and either raspberries or bananas. Protein gives me some carbohydrates and also a good amount of fiber. And then when I go into work, I eat some scrambled eggs and some sweet potatoes.
Okay.
So that's like my second breakfast. And then for lunch, I've been doing jasmine rice, chicken, and some like veggie, either Brussels sprouts or some broccoli. And then I typically have some sort of snack in the afternoon. It might be like an apple or a banana or a piece of sourdough and honey. It kind of just depends. And then for dinner, we kind of just have our, I feel like, rotating 4 or 5 meals that we do, whether it's loaded sweet potatoes with the ground beef, Greek bowls with the ground chicken or chicken thighs, salmon, sweet potatoes, broccoli. Friday nights have been like our taco nights.
Yes.
But I feel like that's kind of typical day of eating for me.
What do your weekends look like? I think that's I know I want to hit on it real quick. That's a big thing for people where they struggle, and I think we struggled for a long time. And I think, like you said, this past month and a half, not even struggled. I guess do a pretty good job. I feel like we're pretty boring. It would be our like cheat meal per se would either be like Chipotle or really just Chipotle. That was what we would get every Saturday. And then Sunday, normally right back to it. But having this plan in place and being able to feel good, what are the weekends look like now for you?
Yeah, I do feel like being consistent on the weekends have really also moved the needle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it can be hard, but it's also like it's if you're consistent all week long and then you're going haywire on the weekends, it's just, you're not going to get the results that you want to see. And that's just the truth of it. Obviously, there's some balance, but I also think, the whole like sometimes there's not a lot of balance.
Yeah.
Like if you want to like actually get the results that you want, there's just things that you gotta like kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I mean, the weekends, I feel like still focused on hitting my macros. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little bit over and I don't stress out about it. We still enjoy foods, or we still have foods that we enjoy and whatnot. But I do feel like being consistent on the weekends too have like really moved the needle. So yeah.
Yeah. I would say, back to your point, if you're someone that has been off the horse for a while, you've been just willy-nilly going about it, and now you're getting back into it and you're looking to be serious, there's no such thing as balance. I don't care what anyone says or any fad diet out there. There's not really a lot of balance when you don't have a lot of room to mess up. Like if you're 300, 400 and some pounds and you're trying to get down to 200 and some pounds, there's not a lot of room for balance. Like you're pretty strict on everything you do until you get to a certain point. And that's something I see a lot of people struggle with. So that's why I wanted to kind of hit on the weekend. Yes. Do we enjoy good food? We both love sushi. That's like our thing. We love pizza. What I love every Saturday night to order pizza, but I just know how I'm going to feel on Sunday morning when I wake up. And sometimes when you do that, then it rolls into, okay, Sunday, I can just go, we can just now get Chipotle and then we don't have to make a mess. You kind of get in that mode. And then that's every weekend. When you're compounding that over weeks after week, it becomes kind of a bad habit. And people are going to probably give me flack for saying this, but it is a bad habit, especially if you're, like you said, serious about your goals. You're serious about what you're doing. I know I just had my bachelor party and there was alcohol involved. There was bad food and I'm paying for it on Monday and Tuesday. And to try to get through my workouts, that's the most important thing to me. Honestly, the older I get, it's really starting to not be worth it. And I had a great time, but also I'm like mad at myself too, because I'm like, it wasn't worth it. I think at the end of the day and I didn't even eat that bad, but it's still just like when you get so used to feeling good, your body does not react well to those foods. So kind of talk about like what was the biggest thing in you personally that kind of helped you make that shift like a couple months ago into really focusing on the nutrition portion of your life and kind of your journey.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think when I first started out, like freshly postpartum, it's easy to like go into it. And if you are consistent enough, you can lose a good amount of weight.
Yeah.
So I felt like I like lost a good amount of weight. I was feeling good, but then I kind of like felt like I hit like I was stagnant for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me was the weekends. Like I was doing great during the weeks.
Let's say
and then the weekend, it was just like, not even that we went haywire, but it was just like, I just felt like on Sunday, I would just be like, I worked so hard all week. I did so good all week. And I feel like I just ruined all my progress.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember the exact moment, but I was like, what if I just see what being consistent, really consistent, like hitting macros every day, making sure I'm getting enough protein in every single day, staying consistent on the weekend, limiting alcohol consumption, which obviously we don't drink a ton of alcohol, but like really not drinking much alcohol at all.
Yeah.
Like not even like how I would look, but how I would feel if I just locked in for 30 days. And the changes I've seen just kind of in a short amount of time, it's just like, it's addicting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, and not even that I'm like obsessing over it. You just feel good. Like not even that, like, yes, it's nice to see changes in my body composition after like putting a lot of hard work into it. But just overall, like the mental clarity, especially coming off the weekends and just like, I just feel good.
I mean, I've seen just a change in like mood and energy levels. Like you said, not even saying that we ate bad, we hardly drink at all. It's more so of like when you put all that work in throughout the week and then you are on a Saturday, we would eat a good breakfast. Most of the time, it was like skipping meals, like, because we'd be on the go. We weren't prioritizing on like a Saturday, getting our food in. And then we come home. It's like, oh, let's just grab Chipotle. And then we're like starving by 5, 6 o'clock. So I'm getting extra rice, double steak, the tortilla. I'm getting chips, guac. And then it's like, I wake up Sunday morning. I'm like, dude, I'm so bloated. And it's not even like it was bad food. It was more so of like, okay. And I remember the exact moment. You're like, I'm going to lock in. I'm going to hit my macros. I was like, if you do mine, I'll do the same thing. We can hold each other accountable. And my lifts are unreal. How fast I've gotten on the track is unreal. And that's a testament to my nutrition because my HRV is up. My sleep scores are the best they've been in months. And I'm still waking up 3:30, 4 a.m. every day. You're waking up really the same time as me. You're able to be energized around the girls. And it all comes down to food and fueling our bodies. Like we're race cars. Like you want to be a high performance athlete, you got to put good stuff in your body. And that's consistent. You look at some of these top tier athletes and what they're doing in their spaces. They're devoting time and so much money to their bodies, chefs, recovery. And this is how we can do it at this level. And it's simple. It's by controlling what you eat, controlling how you sleep, and controlling what physically goes into your body. And I think that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. You also got a promotion. Shout out to you. I wanted to hit on that real quick. I know we haven't had time to go celebrate, but I'm super proud of you on that. And it's a testament to you just showing up at work and being the best version of yourself. I wanted to ask you, do people at work like say stuff about your meals or like make comments, like not in a bad way, but like what female realistically and not any degrading way do you see bringing multiple meals into work and she's just super consistent? Like, do they say anything? Because I know you and your boss are really close.
My team gives me crap all the time because, I mean, it doesn't help that I'm on the cafe team.
Yeah.
Like, some of the people I work with are literally like, they make the menus.
Yeah.
They're a big part of a lot of the, I mean, sometimes like I'm included in on like cafe menu food tastings.
Yeah.
Like, so some of my coworkers, they always joke and they're like, did you pack or are you going down to the cafe to get food? I'm like, I brought my food. They don't care, but
Every day for me.
yeah.
Every single day.
And then there's definitely been like last week I was warming up my food in the microwave and someone, I didn't know who he was, but he was standing next to me and he's like, that looks yummy. And I was like, it is. But I think, it's just like, yeah, not everyone's going to do it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, you hear all the time, like, I don't want to eat the same thing for lunch every day, or I don't want to eat leftovers or warm food up. But it's just like, I'm sorry, that's just an excuse.
Yeah, it is an excuse. And it's like the amount of, and I don't mean this in any bad way, the amount of times that it's just like some of the guys at work, they don't pack their lunch and they're scrambling, and the food that I watch, some of these guys come in and eat every day. I'm like, dude, how?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to Oxby's Chicken right across the street and it's fried sandwiches, wings, and they're eating that every single day. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. And it's
no judgment. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I don't want to put that in my body. I don't want to eat that. Like,
yeah. Well, and I'm not even saying you have to eat the same thing for lunch every day.
Yeah.
I think it's more so of like prepping it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I didn't prep my food ahead of time, I'd probably be eating in the cafe every day because I don't have time to cook something up healthy in the morning.
Or you wouldn't eat.
Or, yeah. So, like, I think it's more so the excuse part is like in terms of prepping it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like prepping something that you know is going to nourish your body.
Yeah.
Whether it's a boring-ish meal or not.
And you can switch it up. I go back between ground beef and chicken. I've been on chicken for a while because it's honestly pretty good. You get the jasmine rice. I cut the chicken up real small. I throw it in there, put it in the microwave, and there's this spicy garlic, like primal sauce that I've gotten. Dude, I love my lunch every day. And I've never been like a huge chicken person, but to have that every day, smacks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can switch it up. I mean, obviously, I know if you're like prepping in bulk, it can be hard to prep it individually for each day, but you can switch it up every week. And I think, again, it just goes back to like being okay with it's going to be boring at times, but I think you get used to it.
Yeah.
Like you get, I don't know, I love my lunch.
Yeah.
It's boring, but I like actually genuinely love it.
It's filling, it's satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about what I'm going to eat that week. And it's just like, we're busy at work. Like, we have fast-paced jobs where we need to be focused. And at work, the last thing I want to worry about is what I'm eating for lunch. I know you're probably the same way. I think for me, my breakfast is the favorite meal of the day. The egg whites, sweet potatoes, and the chicken sausage. I could eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's so good. And I love it, especially right after a workout. It's so good. I think to continue on this conversation, and you've kind of hit on it a little bit, but what's the why behind it all? Like, why did you want to make this change? And why do you want to continue this part of your life? And what gets you excited about it?
I think there's a couple different answers to this question. I think, like, one, obviously, your health is the most important part of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, your health impacts everyone around you.
Yeah.
So obviously there's that aspect in terms of like, I just want to feel good. I want to feel my best for as long as possible. The second part to it is probably just like, I want to feel good in my skin.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of women, especially moms, are like, well, I'm just, and this just is who I am now. Like, my body changed after having babies, which, yes, it did change after having babies. But like, I think it's like, you don't have to, like, you can be strong and confident and feel good in your body. You're allowed to want to feel good in your body as a mom. Like, and I think that's something I'm like just so passionate about, because I feel like it just, feeling good is, no one could disagree with that,
100%.
Like, no, you can say that that's whatever, but like, it feels good to feel good.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to feel good in their
Everybody.
skin.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been really cool to like, I just feel like I'm just continuing to gain more confidence and feel good with, I'm happy with the way that I look. I'm okay to admit that. Like, of course, there's still like, it's always like a work in, like, there's no end to it.
Yeah.
It's just like, even like just with lifting right now, like, it's cool to see, like 4 weeks ago when I started this program I'm on now, like what weights I started at and where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Like, even that is just
You're
like,
moving weight.
it's empowering, especially as a female. Like, it's empowering to like see how much I'm lifting and see how I'm getting stronger. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it in terms of like my why, but.
And this is going to be an unpopular opinion, and some people probably won't like me for this comment, but going back to what you said, people that say they don't care how they look or feel are lying right to your face. Deep down inside, you care about how you look and about how you feel. Every human in this world does. And it doesn't mean you need to be what social media says you are, but everybody wants to feel good. And I think the biggest thing that you and I try to do and want to do is get people out of that shell so they can feel good and show them that there's a way to do it. Like, you're not completely lost. You're not stuck. Like, there's a way out. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some discipline. But like, that's who I want to be from the people that I've seen you work with and talk to and the conversations that I've seen you have. That's who you want to be. And there are some people out there that are very degrading and aren't the best to work with. But at the end of the day, most people want to see other people succeed, I think. I think people genuinely care about you. They might not know how to express it the right way, but I think for the most part, people genuinely just care about your health. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's not about having 6-pack abs and being super tight, what social media says you need to be as a female. It's more so about your health and your longevity and getting to a point where you truly walk into a room and you have confidence and you can project that, and you're not hunched over and you're not in your shell all the time. Like, I just want to bring people out of their shell and make them feel confident about who they are and that they can make the right choices in fitness and in their nutrition. So I think that's huge, and unpopular opinion for sure, but I definitely am excited for you and excited about what you have going on, especially when I keep seeing your journey, because you're getting a little ripped. You definitely are. You're getting strong, and just the numbers that you are putting up and seeing that is awesome. You're actually lifting heavy weight now, and honestly, that's the game changer.
I mean,
with changing your body.
Yeah, I wish so bad. I mean, it took me years to like, I mean, I wish I would have had this realization like so much longer ago. I think
Yeah.
it's just a lot of, obviously there's that like women are afraid of getting bulky. And I think it's more so of like women are afraid of feeling, there's just that conception of like, it was me for the longest time thinking that like, if I didn't feel like I was dying after a workout, it wasn't a good workout.
Yeah.
Or like it was not going to get me results.
Yeah.
That is so far from the truth. And I think that is something that is so hard for a lot of people, especially women, to like recognize or get past. And again, going back to like, I feel like a lot of women sometimes they feel quote unquote like heavier when they're lifting. But again, it's taking a look at your nutrition.
Yeah.
Because if you're strength training and you're eating in a calorie or a caloric surplus, yes, you're going to probably be gaining a little bit of weight. But it's like if you are strength training, you're lifting heavy, you're eating in, it doesn't have to be a big deficit either. It can be very minimal.
Yeah.
If you're walking more throughout the day, like just getting more movement in, not just going to the gym, working out, and then sitting the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But strength training has like actually changed everything for me, like genuinely. And I just feel better too.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel as hungry. When I was doing cardio 24/7, I was hungry all the time.
Yeah.
So then it's like, yes, I'm probably eating in a caloric surplus. And with strength training, I feel good. I don't feel dead after my workout. So I'm not like wanting to come home and just eat, you know? And that is something I'm like, I know it can be hard because it took me so long. It took me so long to believe that like strength training, it took me so long to believe that strength training actually works. Yeah. But I want to get other women to believe that like it actually does work if you do it right. You have to get rid of the 15-pound dumbbells too. Yeah. Like it's just, I'm like
and you have to follow. You have to follow a plan. I know
you have to have a plan.
Like you have to have a plan with progressive overloading. It has to be structured. I mean, you're probably going to do the same workouts for 4 weeks straight, but yes, maybe the reps increase. The weight is for sure going to increase. Going to have to grab something other than 15-pound dumbbells. You're going to have to grab something other than a box for just step ups unweighted, or just the random workouts that you put together. Yeah, you might be adding some weight here and there, but you can't just be doing random workouts with no purpose. What is the purpose of your workout? I see some of these gyms and these classes that they have, and what is the purpose? Monday, you're doing this. Tuesday, you're doing something completely different. Then the next Monday and Tuesday, you're doing a completely different workout.
Yeah.
You're going to get injured. And it's not sustainable long term. There's no results being built in that process. So for me, that's so irritating coming from the strength side of things, is seeing women that have good frames and can actually lift some weight, but they're not really following a plan.
Yeah.
That's going to benefit them at the end of the day, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
I feel like I hear it all the time, but random workouts give you random results. Yeah. And it's like so true.
So true.
And I think too, it also took, I remember the first time you wrote me a program and you're like, we're doing these workouts for 4 weeks. I'm like, the same workouts for 4 weeks? Why? But now I understand it because again, it is like, and especially I think it's important to like make note of what weights you're doing and how many reps you did. I'm using an app right now where I like do the same workout and it tells me how many reps I got at what weight the last time I did it.
Yeah.
And that's been so helpful because I'm like, okay, I did 10 reps at this weight. I'm either going to increase my weight or I'm going to try and do 11 or 10 or 12 reps. So it's just helpful to know. And it's just, again, it's cool to see like, dang, last week I stopped at 7 reps. I probably could have went to 8. Yeah. But this week I did do 8. And I mean, it was tough. But next week I'm probably going to try and do 9 or go up in weight a little bit. So.
And I'm weird. I'm definitely a big fan of like going to failure especially on some of my auxiliary lifts. Like, you're not really getting anything. Say you're doing a leg press or a leg curl, doing 4 sets of 10. Like, let's increase those reps a little more week after week and work off of an RPE scale and make it not really focus on the weight that we're doing, but like focusing on the intensity and the exertion that you're doing in that lift. So I think that's super important. If I could tell any woman out there or guy, like, you got to strength train. I don't care if you're an endurance athlete, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be faster. I know my mileage is average right now. I'm not really training for any runs. Maybe might do the half, might do the full. We'll see. What?
You're all talk. You're not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The guys at Athletics are trying to get me to. You told
You
me I
might do
can't.
no, babe, you're going to sign up and you're going to be like literally miserable again.
Yeah. I don't want to be miserable.
You can do
for
the
our wedding.
half, but
Yeah. I'm not doing the full for sure. Can't do that.
But I want to go back to training to failure really quick because I do feel like that's also been like a huge turning point in my training, because I think for a while it was more of like I was more just focused on like I'm going to get to 10 reps and
Yeah.
like that's good enough.
Yeah.
Not really focused on like could I have done a few more? Like
Yeah.
how did that feel? And something that I've been doing that someone gave a tip on, she's like one of my, it was Dr. Shannon Ritchie. I sent her her podcast episode to today, but she gave a tip that I've been doing, and it's like if you complete because there's a difference between fatigue and failure.
Yeah.
Right? Fatigue is when you're like shaking, you're like really tired, you feel like you just have to stop.
Yeah.
But then if you take a little break, you could probably go crank out like 10 more, like 5 seconds later. So the tip she gave to people was you do as many reps as you can, right? And then once you kind of get that last one up with good form, take a 3-second pause and then try to do another rep. If you can't do another rep, obviously you are like at or close to failure. If you can do another 3 or 4 reps, that means you could either probably increase the weight or do more reps before you pause.
I think that's great too and this has been like a huge Nick Bear thing, and I've included that into phase 3 of my training. I'm about to start phase 4 after Pelotonia, which I'm super excited for because there's going to be a lot of lifting, explosive movements, like really training like I was in football again, and a mileage will increase a little bit running wise, but to go to that is I've ended all of my workouts, whether it's a push day, a pull day, or if it's my lower body day, with some sort of finisher. And it's like 3 to 4 rounds of failure. And that's a good goal, because there's sometimes, like for dips, for example, I'll crank out 30 dips. I could really probably get to 35. So I have been doing a little pause and then busting out like 5 more. Cause I'm shaking and my arms feel tired, but take a little break, still in the upright position, and then I can dip out 5 more, which that's been huge. I've honestly, like, my body has changed a lot. I've looked at my progress photos and I am getting more defined, and it's mostly because of my nutrition, but really focusing when I am strength training, I'm strength training. I'm not rushing around. Because some of my lifts would be supersets and I'd be going really quick. My heart rate's getting up and I'm moving. I'm really losing more weight than I am gaining muscle. So when I'm in the gym, strength training 3 days a week, it's about strength training. So that's been huge for me. And just seeing your consistency, I think I wanted to speak on that for a little bit, is how do you stay consistent?
I mean, routine, obviously, I think that's the easy answer, is just having one. It's like the morning routine that I have. I love it.
Yeah.
Do I want to wake up at or before 5 a.m. every morning? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I think it's like just knowing, I don't know, whenever I like oversleep or sleep through my alarm, if the girls ever wake me up, I'm like angry right away.
No.
Because it's just like, it just throws my whole morning off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, consistency, I feel like it's just, you have to have some sort of structure, routine. And I feel like we've talked about this before, but I feel like pretty much every day for us is about the same.
Yeah.
But I love it. That's what helps us stay consistent, I feel
Yeah.
like. In terms of like staying motivated, maybe it's a different conversation. You know, no one is motivated all the time.
For sure.
But I think it's like finding something that you also just kind of enjoy doing.
I want to stay on this for a little bit because you talked about the excuses thing, and we're parents of 2 kids. We both work full-time jobs. It's not a brag. It's not to, hey, look at us. But how do we do it? How do you stay focused? You stay consistent in that to any people that have kids or they are working a full-time job, and you know the excuses. I've heard them. You've heard them. We'll walk around. We'll go places where maybe there's people that we know or parents that we see that have kids, or they're talking to us, whether that's our friends or anyone in general that come up to us. Maybe they see our stuff on social media. And what could you say to that person that has an excuse or has one of the XYZ excuses that we've heard? What is something you could say to them to combat that and maybe help them in regards to looking at it from a different lens?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of maybe touched on it before. I know you're busy,
Yeah.
but we all are.
Yeah.
This season of life is busy, but so is the next.
Yeah.
And if you can find a routine and get into a routine in your busiest season of life, then like you're always going to be able to stay consistent.
Yeah.
If you can find consistency in the busiest season of your life, like you're set up for success.
Yeah.
And I would say, well, how much time are you scrolling on social media?
Yeah.
You don't have time to meal prep for an hour on Sunday, but how much TV did you watch?
Yeah.
I think it goes back to, I've said it before, is like, if it's important to you, you'll make it a priority.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everyone has like different circumstances, but I think that if you really want it, you're going to find a way to make it happen. And it's
For sure.
not going to look the same for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm lucky that I have a supportive partner. I think of like single moms who
Yeah.
can't leave their kids at home
That
and
was
go to
going
the
to be my
gym.
next question.
But there's things that you can do in your own home, I think there's things that you can do. And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Maybe it's just 30 minutes. Maybe you're cranking out some body weight exercises until failure.
Yeah.
If you have the money to slowly invest in some dumbbells or a weighted vest or a walking pad, like there's things that you can do. Yeah. So again, to that point, like I understand everybody's circumstances are different, but I think that again, if you really want it, you will find a way to do something.
Yeah. And it might not look like waking up every morning. I get that. That might not be feasible, especially you said single parent. You're a single mom, single dad. You can't leave the house at 5 a.m. and go work out. And sometimes, even with us, the kiddos are waking up. We have 2 of us here. One of us can go work out while the other one stays and gets the girls ready, or Lennon wakes up. One of us can stay and feed her, and the other one can go work out, and then we can switch. Some people don't have that luxury, but it's also knowing, okay, I know my daughter is in this season of life where she's waking up at 4:30, 5 every morning. When they go to bed, I'm going to come down to the basement, go in my living room, and bust out the body weight exercises. I got a buddy at work, good friend, that him and his girlfriend just started their version of 75 days hard. They knew they weren't going to be able to do both workouts, but they're doing something. And that made me happy to hear. He's in his house. He doesn't want to get a gym membership. He's got some bands. He's got some weights, and he's doing a ton of push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, dips. He has that stuff where he can do that. And that's all it takes. It doesn't have to look crazy. It just has to be consistent. You just have to show up, and you have to be willing to put in the effort, I think. And I mean, we've been doing for a month and a half now, almost. I think we're at 90 a day. We just started 90 push-ups and sit-ups every night. Yeah, it's stupid, but it's something we can do together. And the girls see it as an example of mommy and daddy do fitness. Every time I have my running shoes on or my biker shorts, Sage looks at me, daddy run. Like just seeing that, and we're planting that in them as like, this is how we live. This is the lifestyle. These are the things that we're going to consistently do because this is how we want to raise the girls. And I came from a very unhealthy household growing up. And to me, yeah, it might be a little insecurity that I have or something in the back of my head that I'm constantly running away from. But I don't ever want them to end up how I was and how I grew up. Not saying it's a bad thing or my mom did anything wrong. And I've spoke on this before, but it's not the lifestyle I want to live because it was very unhealthy. And yes, I was young enough where it didn't really matter, but I'm seeing the effects of it on my mom and even some of the stuff my dad's going through, like health wise. That's always constantly on my mind in every decision I make. So I think for anyone out there that's like struggling in regards to their health and fitness, just maybe think about that. How do you want your future, if you have kids, what do you want that to look like? Or if you plan, you and your partner are engaged or your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you guys are serious enough and you're looking to start a family, what do you want that family to look like? What do you want what do you envision for your life and for your kids? And I think that's something that I think could be your motivation, could be your driving force in how you want to set up the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I think too, like it doesn't have to be, it can be so small to start. You can like wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm every day this week, I'm going to wake up or I'm going to get 10 minutes of movement in every day. Even if it's just 10 minutes and you're like establishing that habits of like, I'm moving for 10 minutes every single day.
Yeah.
You're going to start to like build some momentum and be like, okay, maybe I'm going to do 15 minutes today. And you're just going to continue to add on and add on. And it's just building the habit. And then eventually you're going to see like how it makes you feel, how it gives you more energy, and you're just going to continue to want to do it. So if it feels just overwhelming or intimidating to be like, I don't have an hour to work out, like it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. Start so small and just build the habit. And it can be broken up in intervals too. Like walk in 10-minute sections 3-4 times a day at least, you know, like you don't have to do it all at once. Find little pockets of your day to get some movement in.
Yeah. And it's so simple if you make it simple. Stay off social media. Don't look what all these influencers are posting and pushing because they started somewhere as well. You doing crazy workouts, and I say this probably every time I talk about fitness on this podcast, but it's true, is meet yourself where you're at. Don't try to do something crazy because you're not going to finish it. If you go balls to the wall for a week and you're physically not able to, I promise you're not going to stay consistent. You're going to hate it. You're going to be sore, which there's nothing wrong with being sore, but it's just not sustainable. So meet yourself where you're at. If you're going to find a trainer or someone that's going to work with you, they got to meet you where you're at too. And if that person isn't willing to do that, then hey, wash it and move on to the next person. Or start by doing something simple, going on a walk every morning. Come home from work, you eat dinner, go on a walk after dinner. It can be that simple. Like I know I run some nights when I don't get it in the morning. It's 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. It's that simple. It's not like I'm going on hour-long runs. It's what I can get in where I can still spend time with you guys and have an afternoon after work, you know what I mean? And fortunate enough, I'm pretty flexible job, but like it's not complicated if you don't make it complicated. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's about what you need and the goals that you're looking to achieve. If you want to be a superstar runner, then yeah, it's going to probably take a lot of work if you're at square one. There's a lot you're going to need to do. There's a lot of stuff you're going to need to get, but just getting started probably takes a lot of the time. So to kind of wrap it up here and just talk about a whole different subject, I think we're going to have to do a part 2 on the lifting. I want to dive more into that and kind of what you got going on and what your lifts look like. So I think to look at our faith, because that's one thing I've noticed with you, has been getting deeper lately. I think just very consistent in your devotionals, your journal, and it's exciting. It has me back in my leadership Bible, and you're reading a book with your friends from high school, like a little book club, and just kind of doing some things that we were doing before Lennon got here, I think, and just reincorporating that into our daily routine. And I was probably making excuses on not reading. I was like, you're up early enough. You're setting up your videos on TikTok and trying to get stuff going in the morning when you could probably be in your Bible and automatically get those set up to go. And that's something on my end. I was probably making excuses. So I'm glad to see that and see you. And it's kind of motivated me to make sure that I'm being consistent with that. Because, like I said, we're not perfect. We still mess up things. I mean, there's subjects that we probably make excuses on where we could probably do better, like the reading and just little things. So, what what does faith mean to you? And I think I've been trying to ask this question a little more on the podcast with some of my guests, but I think it's a good one, and I'm interested to hear your answer and kind of what you got to say about that.
I mean, I think just like having faith in something bigger than everything we do day to day. I think, yeah, it's just sometimes it can be hard to like stop myself in my tracks and be like, there's something greater beyond all of this,
Yeah.
But I think it's also like I've been just trying to ask myself, like, what's my purpose while I am here on earth? And yeah, I don't know. I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say maybe a second part to that is I think why do you believe?
I mean, I there's always something that I feel like I just whenever I'm like worshiping or I'm in church and I like sometimes I'll just get full body chills
Yeah.
and I'm like I always think that that's just like that's the Holy Spirit somehow some way. Like I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I feel it in my body that
Yeah.
like there's just more to this life.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's just like there's a lot of unknowns, but the Bible is so fascinating and it's just like how can you not believe?
Yeah.
It can be I mean, obviously it can be hard like again, there's so many unknowns, especially sometimes when I'm reading the Bible, I'm like, what do you mean he's 500 years old? Like there's little things
Yeah,
like
like
that where
in
it's like,
Genesis when
what are you talking
they're
about?
going through the families and son of this is passed away when he was not 900 and some. And I think that was something for me too. But the more you get into it and the more you dive and like start to understand, I know right now I'm going through Nehemiah and just I love the leadership Bible because it talks about leadership. I'm very interested in leadership. So it makes it practical for me and helps me understand because it kind of puts it in today's terms and you can kind of wrap your head around it a little more. So I think that's helped me and my faith, I guess, if that makes sense in regards to, I think you have to find a way that your brain understands it for you to really dive in and fully kind of embrace the faith. So I had a question on my story today and I'd posted some topics that people would like to hear on the podcast and maybe some guests. And one of the questions I thought you would be really good to answer this is just based on kind of all the things that we've gone through, some of the things you've gone through in your life. How do you stay consistent in your faith? Because I know there's probably been times where you've been in and out. You've really not truly fully believed. So what has kept you consistent in your faith and how have you kind of focused on knowing that God is real and he has a plan for you?
I don't know. I mean, there are times where I'm better at it than others, but it's just kind of a discipline in terms of like getting in the word
Yeah.
and whatnot. I mean, obviously church on Sundays is a non-negotiable for us, which
Yeah.
like it doesn't really mean anything. You can show up at church and just like check it off the list.
Yeah.
But I think we're good at being intentional when we are at church
Yeah.
and like engaged. And I like the series that we're going through right now in terms of like the purpose behind worship.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I just think, and two, the people that you surround yourself with helps. But I think church on Sundays being a non-negotiable and not just like showing up, but actually like being engaged.
Yeah.
Reading the Bible, doing devotional, listening to worship music, even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to going to the gym. Like, you're not always going to want to read the Bible. You're not always going to want to do your devotional.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. Now it's just, again, it's part of my routine. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, because there are times where I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'm just checking it off the list. So I don't know. It's just, but having that routine, I think, is what helps me stay consistent.
Good. And I think that's important, that another aspect of our family life and what we want for our kids is making sure that they see that we are intentional on, we don't just go to church on Sunday and half paying attention, not knowing what's going on, but really being engaged. And I think I've struggled with that. But you, like I said, have done a great job at making faith fun again for me and helping me understand that at the end of the day, like, that's our purpose and that's what we want to go after. So I know it's getting late and I got to wake up at 3 a.m. to go to run club. So one question for you, and I think that's a good one. If you could give younger you any advice, what would it be and why?
Like, how young?
Any age, I would say teenager, middle school. I'll rephrase this. At, at what point in your life did you think you needed advice? Give that version of you the advice.
Mm, Probably like freshman, sophomore year college.
Okay.
Like, I kind of wish I was a little bit more serious about what I wanted to do
Yeah.
with my career.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know. Not that it's ever too late to change, and not that I don't love my job, but I think I wish I would have like known really which is hard. It's hard to know what you want to do at the age of 18, but I
Yeah.
think in college I was like, well, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
And it was more so of like, I'm getting a degree, like I'm gonna have a job the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I think it's more so of like, I wish I would have like just been a little bit more serious and really thought about like what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, again, who knows if maybe what I felt like I was passionate about at 18 is different than 28.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think in college I was just like, well, I'm getting a degree, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us like that. And I think it happens for a reason. You're at where you're at for a reason. Goes back to the faith thing. God's plan for you is greater than you know, and who knows what'll happen in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year. You didn't think you were going to get a promotion, and I'm excited for you. I said this last time you were on, is the momentum that you have is crazy. I mean, we didn't even talk about Run Club, and that's blown up since then. I mean, you just had an event with the crew. You got your guys' own event here in September, and I'm excited. So, like I said, just keep doing what you're doing, following the plan, and biggest cheerleader. I'm going to continue to support you and everything you do. So, I appreciate you coming on again. One more thing, because I know I don't want to do this when we go to bed. What are 3 things that you're grateful for that happened to you today?
Are we adding this to the podcast?
Yep.
3 good things that happened to me
We
today.
do this every night. We try to do it every night. There's 3 questions. I don't ever remember the questions, so Emily has to basically ask us both the questions, and then I'll answer. But what are 3 good things that happened to you today? Question number 1.
3 good things that happened to me today. I got a good workout in at work today. I don't know. I made some leeway on an event that we're going to be doing with Run Club that I'm really excited about.
Nice.
And just spending time with you guys this evening.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say my workout this morning, really enjoyed that. Having dinner with you guys. Sage is now sitting at the table. I love her commentary. I really enjoy it. I love dinner time. I love that we sit at the table. I've been enjoying that a lot lately. And number 3, I would say my run. My run this afternoon was really good. Was really good. I needed it. Definitely needed it.
3 things you're looking forward to tomorrow.
3 things I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We have a job walk. I'm actually looking forward to that. It's a project here in Worthington, in Columbus, for a compounding pharmacy. It's going to be pretty cool. Dadletics, bright and early, ready for that. And then picking the girls up from daycare.
For me, it's going to be kind of a slower morning tomorrow, which will be kind of nice with Pelotonia on Saturday. I'm just going to do like a long walk in the morning on the treadmill.
Nice. So I don't have to set up the bike.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I've been loving walking lately, so it's just like, I don't know, it's therapeutic for me. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I have some good meetings tomorrow, some big meetings tomorrow at work. And then, I don't know, our evening routine. I don't know. I love our routines. So, yeah. And then 3 things you're grateful for?
3 things I'm grateful for. Number 1,
We don't have all night here.
Number 1, I would say I am grateful for baby Lulu. Really grateful for baby Lulu right now. Just seeing how much she's growing, and she's actually sleeping right down by Emily's feet, and she's getting so big. I'm very, very thankful for her. I'm very thankful for Sage too, but just I have this picture of her on my background, and I think just extra thankful for her today because I think we're getting a little closer. And number 2, I would say just my health, man. Just thankful that I have the ability to do what I can do and I'm able to walk around. And number 3, I think I said this last night, but our home, the food that we get, being able to fill our fridge, just simple things that everybody takes for granted every day. What about you?
I would say my family. I would say just like the excitement I have for like my workouts and my fitness routine right now.
Yeah.
And I think just the stability and the flexibility I have with my job.
Yeah.
I think it allows me to also do some things on the side that I really enjoy that I feel like some people maybe don't get that luxury.
Yeah.
But it's a good job to have for just work-life balance. So
For sure. For sure. Well, any other specific goals that you have coming up here in the near future with training,
just trying to
nutrition?
get as ripped and as fit for our wedding. I want to look good in the wedding dress.
You're going to look good. I'm excited. You tried it on when you were like 2 months postpartum, right?
Yeah, I have my wedding alteration in almost a week, so I'm excited
It's next Saturday.
to see it. No, you're not going to do that.
I'm just kidding. But everyone, I appreciate you. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Between the Reps. I am your host, Granger. This is my fiance, Emily, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.